Well, a very warm welcome back to the Balwan Sholak Sports Palace here in Almaty, Kazakhstan. And while the dancers dance away, entertaining the crowd, which is indeed filling up in the hall, we look backstage to the women's 63-kilo competitors just warming up, getting ready to start this A group. And these are the athletes who are involved in today. It is perhaps even more packed than ever before. It's an extraordinary lineup. Deng Wei there, the Chinese, former world champion in 2010 at a lighter weight category. We have the junior world record holder in the clean and jerk, Jo Pok from the People's Republic of Korea. Lin Su-shi, who's a double world record holder. In fact, let's just go through them here as we see them. And you can see there's the Thai athlete, Sirakor Pimsiri. 2011 world champion of the 58s as well, let's not forget. Yes, the Belarusian Novikova. The Ecuadorian Guerrero, second at the IWF World Championships. One of the best performances ever by a South American. Kalina, third at the 2014 European Championships. That normally would spell success here, but well, in this lineup, perhaps not. The 2010 world champion, second at the Asian Games in this weight category, Deng Wei. Romola Begaj from Albania, second at the Europeans in the 58s. And well, let's not forget the Albanian success yesterday. Perhaps the whole team is firing on all cylinders. Goracheva, fourth at the World Championships last year. Cho Yo Sim to the beat there, 2012 Asian Junior Champion. You know, the North Koreans are all in great form at the moment. Tima Turieva, our defending champion and indeed European champion this year. Lin Su-shi, 2014 Asian Games champion, absolutely getting in the zone and took 2 world records at that Asian Games. She's on top form. Jo Pok Hyang, second at the World Championships last year, third at the Asian Games, but only just behind the Chinese Taipei athlete. And rounding them off, the Colombian, who's been to Olympics and World Championships on a number of occasions. There's the past winners, Tima Turieva, 252 kilos her total last year, one of the highest totals ever, but it may go higher today. Well, there are the world records, 117, 145, 261. And they are held clean and jerk and total by Lin, who's in the competition. Now, this is how it unfolded in the B group earlier. And my goodness, did it unfold with a surprise. Likacheva of Russia coming out to do 108 in her final snatch. And there was only one other woman over 100 kilograms in the B group. That is very much an A group weight. That's a fantastic lift by Likacheva, who at just 19 years old is set to be a star of the future. Now, the clean and jerk, it was again Likacheva, who had missed 131 on her second, nailing this on her third. Let me bring in Michaela Breeze, a former European Championship medalist. You've competed around these weights, so you appreciate just how heavy this is, Michaela. And from a B group,
I cannot believe we're watching a B group athlete here snatching 108, clean and jerking 131. She's just thrown herself right up there in contention. It's going to be a big ask for some of these A lifters to beat her. That was just some phenomenal lifting earlier today from the B group.
Well, one thing has to be said, the A group is so stacked. You can see some really top lifters, perhaps the Colombian, you know, finishing way behind the lead pack. Not quite sure who's going to be out on top at the end of this. I certainly wouldn't like to bet my money. What do you think, Michaela?
Well, we've just been going through the contenders before this competition is about to get underway, and we have got some talent here. We've got the current world record holder who only broke those records just a matter of weeks ago. She from China, from People's Republic of Korea. That was Jo, but she only just beat the Chinese lifter Deng, who's come up from 58 category by just 1 kilo on each lift. And we talk about those two being eyeballs out there in the lead, but hang on a minute. We've got Turieva from Russia, who's a defending champion and is there or thereabouts, who is in picture now, 45 kilos on the bar. It's a 15-kilo bar for women. We've got 3 athletes there that are beyond world class. I mean, it is an absolutely stacked field.
Yeah, I mean, just looking at the Asians, it's an interesting indicator, of course. Maybe not so much as we get into the heavier weight categories now, but the Europeans tend to come on strong. And, of course, let's not forget the South Americans. They've been just brilliant over the last few years. But there were definitely 2 packs. There was Lin of Chinese Taipei and Deng of China. They had this ding-dong battle, 261 and 259 kilograms, way out ahead of the rest of the world. And, of course, world records were falling. There is Lin. And then Zhou and Karina of Kazakhstan having a battle about 10 kilos behind. And, you know, of course, we have the returning champion from Russia. I'm not sure she's able to compete with the Chinese athletes. Well, my guess was the Colombian would be coming out first in this A group snatch in the women's 63-kilo World Weightlifting Championships here in Almaty, Kazakhstan. And my guess was correct. Of course, it's a very educated guess off of what they intend to start on, and it was going to be 95 kilograms. That has jumped all the way up to 100 kilograms, and actually someone has just dropped down. It's Escobar of Ecuador, so she may well come in first. I was going to say the Colombian will be coming out first. She was originally 5 or 6 kilos down on the rest of the field. Now, what's going on here with the Russians there?
Not sure, but Turieva doesn't look happy in the warm-up room. That was only 45 kilos on the bar. She doesn't really need to start warming up too much higher just yet. She's got a long time before she will be out, but she doesn't look happy. Whether she's carrying a niggle coming into this, time will tell. We'll have to wait and see.
Escobar Guerrero of Ecuador to start this competition. 63 kilos. This is 100 kilograms on the bar. And remember, the B group lifter did 108 earlier. So quite a high barrier just to get past the B group.
Well, a confident first attempt, and Escobar this year looking much, much stockier. Remember, she won a silver medal at the World Championships last year, but she was in the 58 kilo category then, so she's come up a category, looking a lot heavier in terms of build and stature. And that's 100 kilos, just 3 kilos below her best, which was set back in 2010, but obviously at the lighter body weight.
Something we've seen of the South American lifters is just incredible amounts of raw athleticism as well. You know, sheer power. The Colombians in particular have been superb this World Championship so far. Perez Tigrero going for 100. Things have gone well in the warm-up for the Colombian. She's up to weight significantly for this opener.
Caught the lift very, very high. And Colombia are doing so well at these World Championships. They've got lifters in most of the A groups, and this bodes well for them, trying to accumulate points as they attempt to secure places at the next Olympic Games.
Great stuff there. It was well, maybe not a power snatch, but she hardly drops deep here, does she?
No, it's very, very confident, really drove the bar high. Very confident lifting.
Another competitor to join in, and it's Pim Sirakar of Thailand. 24 years old. Her personal best pretty high, 108. And she's done well at Asian Championships in the past, 5th this year. And as I said, there was kind of 2 groups. There was the top 2, the Chinese Taipei athlete and the Chinese, and then you had Zhou and Karina, the Korean and the Kazakh, and then there was a sort of 3rd group about, believe it or not, 40 plus kilos down on the lead athletes. So that gives you an idea that our top athletes today might be coming into the snatch at 110, 112 perhaps, very high.
Really solid at the bottom, just taking a moment to steady herself. And that 108 that she has done this year, it was this year, And this is a lifter with some caliber, some experience, having placed second at the Olympics back in 2012. But haven't things moved forward since then? Wow, she's having one heck of a job staying with the field. She's one of the first lifters out in an A group.
I mean, that was almost an exhibition rep, wasn't it? Look how long I can hold it. It's easy, and then stand up. Some athletes like just to ping straight out the bottom. Goracheva of Kazakhstan now. You can hear the cheers building up in the hall. The Kazakh team's done very well so far. Dr. Lee on the right-hand side there. The bespectacled coach, very much the mastermind behind the Kazakh weightlifting team. She asked for a little silence here. That was easy. My goodness me. She might have been fourth at the Asian Championships, but she was equal on weight with Jo of North Korea. So, and the way she just did that, this is going to be a good contest. 4 successes out of 4 so far.
It's really high caliber of lifting. And these girls are making these weights look easy. Just on her toes as she stands up, hence the step forwards. Really good atmosphere here in the stadium today. And there has been every group so far where we've had a Kazakh lifter in the A group. Just a couple of technical things there the coach is trying to reinforce.
So it looks like Yulia Kalina will be coming out next from Ukraine. 26 years old now. Just made it in by a few grams.
Get set.
We've been losing weight to get here, but it hasn't affected her too much. That was a good, snappy start.
Yes, it was very technically good. Now, this is an athlete that has come up from the 58 kilo category, competed in London, 8th place. London Olympics. She's moved up to 63, and interesting that you say, you know, she's one of... She's really improving at a rate of knots. Personal best of 106, so she's starting close to that. Great technical lifting.
Maria Escobar Guerrero, 104. It's quite a small increase in a way. The way she attacked that first one, just 4 kilos up.
It's a personal best attempt.
Ah, good point, yes. Slightly soft in the elbows.
Soft because she tried to use her upper body at the top of the lift rather than committing and landing solidly.
And 2 reds, 1 white. Well, if it looked like a good lift at home, when we see it in the replay again, watch her right arm here. It has to go to full extension and stay there.
Can't see from this angle.
Yeah, maybe not the best angle, but you can still see a wobble even from here.
Yep, the arms must go to straight position, no flexion at all at the elbows allowed.
Perez Guerrero of Colombia going for 104 as well, matching the Ecuadorian. Her body weight 62.4, the Ecuadorian 60.9, so she's the heavier of the two. It doesn't really matter. The Ecuadorian didn't get the weight anyway, but she'll have a reply lift. Well, the jury there just calling over the technical officials. They want to chat. They're obviously not happy with the result of the previous lift. And they're obviously disagreeing with that press out.
And Pedro Sanchez, the Australian guy in the middle, who's animated here, talking to the guy that he's called over. Very experienced jury member. There's 5 people on the jury there. They have the power to overrule any decisions made by the 3 referees.
Well, has it been overruled? Yes, it has, is the answer. It's gone blue on our scoreboard from red, which is a good thing. So, Escobar Guerrero of Ecuador, given that 104. How will this have affected the Colombian? She comes out on stage, gets taken off.
She's got some experience behind her. She should be able to cope with those minor distractions. I certainly wouldn't be looking to blame what's just happened on that failure. It's more of a technical issue. Let the bar pull her forwards as it came off the floor onto her toes. Very hard to recover.
In many ways, it was a similar mistake to the Ecuadorian, wasn't it? Sort of trying to go a bit more upper body dominant and back dominant. Well, the first ones were snappy and quick with the legs.
That's right. Ideally, as the bar comes off the floor, you want to maintain the same angle with the back. You really engage those big, chunky muscles in the lower back, erector spinae, that keep you in position. If an athlete lifts their bottom, drops the chest, that will send them forwards, and that's generally a sign of weak glutes and weak lower back.
Yeah, and I guess it also then creates this back to front motion as you finish the snatch off, more so than if you were to keep chest upright.
Yes, definitely. If you drop your chest, it pulls you onto your toes. To compensate, then you end up using your upper body to try and whip it back, and that's when you put a swing on the bar. Very difficult to control overhead.
104 kilograms. Third and final then for Perez de Guerrero. Just missed that one. She's given 2 minutes to follow herself, so still 30 seconds on the clock. She doesn't have to rush this. I don't think she'll be too tired. She didn't fight too hard at the last one. Much better.
Much better attempt. She'll be much happier with that. You can see she's really fired up for this competition. And that's a great lift. Only 1 kilo below her best. Great lifting on the world stage.
Absolutely. And much more upright. From her chest to her head, you can see it. Use those big quads to drive. So, Novakova of Belarus coming out now. Nastasia, who is going for 105. And certainly has some good history at the World Championships. At different weight categories. And that is really strong to start with.
Well, that's the kind of lift we expect from Novakova. She has competed in the 53 category only a few years ago. Well, I say a few years ago, 2004 at the Olympics. She placed 6th in the 53s. Still at 53 in Beijing in 2008, she placed 3rd, so she's an Olympic bronze medalist. In London, moved up to 58 kilos where she placed 7th. But she was she's a world champion back in 2011 as well in the 58 category. Now we see her here in the 63s, where she competed also last year at the World Championships and placed 5th. So she's a lifter that's gone through the weight categories, and she's maintained a level of performance and increased her personal bests throughout.
Yeah, and if it feels like she's been around a while, well, she has been. As simple as that. She's cruised through the categories. 32 years old now, the Belarusian. And as we now see, competitor from the People's Republic of Korea, Jo Pok-hyang, who owns the world record, the junior world record in the clean and jerk. That is, of course, the second discipline that they will do later on. The two are added together, this the snatch, for the total overall world champion title. Good start there, big smile. Not happy with something?
I'm being very fussy here. Watching from the front, if we get a replay, there's the tiniest movement in her right elbow, but not enough for it to be anything significant.
Oh, you're harsh here. Let's have a look. Right elbow? Her right elbow?
Oh, the tiny. I'm being so fussy there.
Yeah, I mean, I guess
nothing wrong with that. From a technical point of view, nothing wrong with that. Great lifting.
I mean, there is a slight grey area, isn't there? When does a wobble become a flex?
That's right. She's got tremendous leg strength. Her quad's very heavily built. Stands up with ease from that deep squat position.
Pimsiri Sirakwa of Thailand. 105. She's only stepped up 3 kilos here.
Comfortably to arm's length. The bar hit her as she landed.
Well, centre referee, so you were thinking, what were you thinking there?
Well, again, I was thinking I might be being too fussy here, but just a small fraction of a movement in both elbows.
Yeah, it's actually both elbows. It went to lockout, just sprang back out. It's almost because she caught it so high, she had a little second where she didn't really have full control of it.
That's right, with this adrenaline on this kind of stage, you know, you should be feeling stronger. And when you suddenly find that extra tiny bit of power, that bar goes a tiny bit higher than you're used to, and it does make catching it somewhat more tricky if you do really rise to the occasion.
Well, this is where the poker game begins. Who's in next? Looks like the Ecuadorians coming in. And I guess when you catch a weight in that position, you're not actually just thinking about holding it up, are you? I mean, so weightlifters talk about pulling the bar and pulling it sideways and to be able to help you with that lockout.
When you land the weight, really, you're trying to push straight out of that squat position so that if the bar is slightly forwards or slightly back, then you've got a chance of getting back underneath it. It's more of a really strong shoulder lock as well overhead.
So the Ecuadorian going for 105, just 1 kilo up on her previous, which was a good lift, overturned by the jury.
And I think that's a really sensible call. It may only be 1 kilo, but her previous attempt was also a kilo over best. So here we go, 3 out of 3, and she's just put 2 kilos on her new personal best. She obviously knows what she's capable of and what her limits are. Really good, strong lifting.
Next lift will be Cho Hyoi Sim, according to our list, which would be her opener at 108. We still have 5 athletes to join in. Only 2 have cashed out, as it were. From the 12, you're only allowed 3 lifts in this rising bar competition. So once you've had your 3, even if you still feel good for more, you are out. Cho Hyoi Sim then, 108 it is. The Begaj of Albania have the highest posted entry at 110.
Oh, very soft overhead. You can see just how wide her hands were. And that bar swung, just couldn't stabilise it. It was never stationary overhead.
Well, they've had a tremendous campaign so far, the People's Republic of Korea, and I nearly said before this lift, they've come out with brilliant tactics and almost never failed their openers, and they've done a lot of world records to boot. And obviously Cho feeling the pressure there. Now this is last year's champion, the defending champion in this category, Tima Turieva of Russia, also the European champion this year. 108.
Perfection.
Wow, great leg strength. Goodness.
What can you say? Extremely good, extremely strong off the floor, maintains a really good back position.
I mean, you should never really be struggling to stand up with a snatch anyway, because you're soon to do the clean and jerk, which is a lot heavier on your legs, but still, the way she popped out of that was well in control.
Well, there's a look of frustration on her face. I'm not sure why. I mean, it really was a textbook lift.
Goracheva of Kazakhstan going for 108. Crowd just quietening down here. We are, of course, here in Almaty in Kazakhstan. And this is 5 kilos up on her previous lift. And Dr. Lee looking a little nervous. Her previous personal best coming into this, 111. So very doable. Yeah, the 21-year-old turns to the crowd, big smile.
I think very, very good lifting. I'm I don't usually write this on my notes when doing my research, but I've written next to Gorocheva, she's not a consistent lifter. So far, so good. 2 from 2 and looking absolutely spot on.
Wasting no time at all, Yulia Kalina jogs onto the stage. 1:08. That's what she's up against for her second. And I have to say, we've had a very high percentage of successes so far in this A group category. And just as I say it, I'm afraid Kalina does a miss, but that's only the 3rd miss in the entire category, and it may well mean she follows herself depending on what the Thai girl Sirakar goes for. She's posted 1:08 at the moment, so too Gorocheva of North Korea, and well, that was a bit messy.
Wow, position-wise, it's such a fine line between a good lift and a bad lift, and there wasn't much wrong on the way up.
Yes, hitting the groove in snatch is very tricky. You know, springing out of what can be an off-balance position at the bottom there. Very narrow grip here from Jo of North Korea. 3 kilos up on her first lift.
No, she's on her toes. Wow, can she steady it? That is
goodness.
phenomenal control. Determination, absolutely, all the way through that lift. She should have lost that. Just look how high her heels came. I think she was clawing in with her toenails there to steady herself.
Yeah. Oh, goodness me. And look at her face here. So close. Normally that would go the wrong way.
Wow.
Oh.
Great stability to pull it back.
Just hanging over a precipice there, and maybe a gust of wind in the hole brought her back. That was really close.
Literally, she's gone. How did she?
And then once it rocked back to control it, I mean, it's magnificent. Well done to her. Koisim Cho. I can catch it now. 1:08, failed the first one. Little pressure here.
Doesn't look convincing. That looks to be a limit. There's no upward momentum on the bar. She's literally catching it as a dead weight.
Yes, 1:08, and she might go for 1:09 and make it, but you can't see 1:10. Look at how heavy it looks off the floor, and it didn't accelerate much past the knees, did it?
No, that's the thing. There's not much acceleration, therefore very little float on the bar. But as she lands it, the bar's there. So, I mean, perfection.
Quite a wide grip, though. That does help for getting underneath it. The other North Korean, of course, very narrow grips. You really have to pull it a lot higher and faster, don't you?
Well, her teammate has much shorter arms. The wider your hands are, technically the less distance the bar has to travel, so it's an advantage if your hands can be that wide, but some lifters will struggle with wrists and shoulders.
Pimsri Sirakar going for 1:08 for her final.
Right in line with her best.
That was rock steady, really good. Exactly as you said, a form lifter doing her best. She did 1:08, she did 1:02, 1:06, 1:08 at the Asians 6 weeks ago. She does 1:02, 1:05, 1:08 today.
Really consistent, having just broken a new personal best only a few weeks ago, to consolidate it here. I'm sure we're going to see more from her in the next few competitions.
Yulia Kalina missed 1:08. She really does need this if she wants to stay in the game. Her clean and jerk traditionally isn't as good as the others.
Needs to stand still. She's been given the down signal. She's okay.
Hold it. Good, good, good. Yes, you can see the hand there. The camera angle was just low enough to see the centre referee's hand waving her down, saying, put it down, you've done it. 3 white lines.
That's right. She was hanging on that bit longer. Although she'd heard the buzzer, she didn't want to then be failed because she wasn't under control. So she just, you know, took an extra couple of seconds. That's 2 kilo personal best.
Well, we're about halfway through, maybe just over this A group snatch competition. Next lifter is the Belarusian Novikova, going for 109. 4 times European champion, a former world champion, though she's come up through the weights.
Oh, short.
Three red lights, of course. Didn't manage to give it a stand-up attempt at all here. Just too short a pull.
If we get another replay, I would say too short on the extension at the hip joint. Doesn't quite get full extension, really needs to engage the glutes a bit more. And she'll get another inch or two on that bar, plenty of room then to get her body underneath.
And it looks like the Kazakh's going to come out again. Only 109 at the moment, which should only be 1 kilo on what she's just been successful at. And I didn't think she was that on the limit, that it would only be 1 kilo, so perhaps they're just playing a game, and that'll pop up in a second.
Oh, you know what's happened?
Yes. It looks like Novikova's coming out again.
Yeah, but they've called another lifter. Then it's come back to Novikova, which means instead of having 2 minutes, she's only got the 1 minute.
Oh, yes, this is the one rule that is not something you're a big fan of. I bet she isn't a big fan of it right now. You should have 2 minutes to follow yourself, but if it automatically goes to another lifter and then pops back to you, you have just a minute. So, well, she didn't battle too hard in the previous attempt, so hopefully energy levels are high for this final lift.
So much better, rock solid at the bottom. Well, that's a lifter in some serious form. 109, her personal best coming into this was 105, but that was set back in 2010. Great to see her improving now as she gets older.
And let me just point out, actually, this is the first athlete to hit the 109, and that's the first athlete to go past Likacheva, the 19-year-old Russian who was in the B group.
Well, I can't believe we haven't mentioned her again previously. Of course, 108 from the B group. I said it was going to be difficult to beat. We've still got a number of athletes left in the competition, so it doesn't look like she will take a medal from the B group, but she's not far away.
Oh, you never know. Deng Wei, she has had her consistency problems in the past. Last year at the World Championships, she took gold in the snatch, then bombed in the clean and jerk. That was a lighter category. She's come up since then. She'll want to put that to bed and at least get a total here, if not win the world title. 110 on the bar.
Well, left it out in front. It's a disappointing start to the competition. Deng is under some serious pressure here, having moved up a weight category as well.
Well, she smiled at the end of that, like she knew she could do it, but just had got the groove wrong. I mean, obviously it's sitting out in front.
Heels are up. Look at that, heels are up way too early. Weight's all on her toes, hence why it's out in front.
Just a rush of adrenaline, and she loses her technique. Romula Begaj of Albania. This is a 110 opener. This is colossal for Begaj.
Absolutely. I know she's attempted more than 103, but 103 is her best recorded on an international stage. Whoa! Save that from going out the back door. And that's a determined athlete we're seeing right there. Gaj often comes out very smiley, happy, but she looks a different athlete in these championships.
So her personal best prior to this? 103. As she comes out
110.
That's 110.
She's obviously done these weights in training, and I know that she's lacked consistency in the past on the snatch. So where she snatched 103, I know she's attempted more. She's obviously in much better condition, and she's looking in good condition as well.
We saw the Albanians yesterday were in tremendous condition. A real surprise story there. More on that in a minute, as Lin of Chinese Taipei, the world record holder in that clean and jerk and total, comes out, and well, she's been just a kilogram away from the snatch world record just 6 weeks ago at the Asian Games when she took the title. 116 kilos she did that day. What What's going wrong here?
Bar out in front again as it passes her knees. But there was quite a lot of air time there.
Something the Chinese Taipei athletes do a lot of is split with their feet when they do the snatch. They start with a reasonably narrow stance and then shift out 6 inches. And I guess that can put you off a bit if you don't get it quite right. And so we see Deng Wei coming out at 110 again. So well, the two biggest names, Lin and Deng, have come out and failed their openers. And they're the last two to join. So Begaj of Albania leads at the moment.
We have a pressurised situation unfolding right here. One of the favourites having missed her first 2 attempts. Deng is in serious trouble.
Massive trouble here, and well, she bombed in the 58s last year. She's been given another chance, and believe you me, with the Chinese team, there's so many good lifters waiting in the wings.
Well, much better attempt. Stayed on flat feet for a lot longer. Very little wrong with it, and I say on these kind of weights, it's got to be millimetre perfect.
Well, here is Lin, who hit 110 in her opener in the Asian Games, missed 115 as the second, then hit 116, so this should be easy.
I wouldn't say easy, but it was a comfortable attempt. Much more determined. Frustration having missed that first lift. That one's under the belt. She's in the competition. 1 attempt remaining. How far can she push it now? We've got to remember, though, Tyrieva of Russia still has 2 attempts remaining. So does Begaj of Albania. This is going to be a very tight finish.
She's quite a long, rangy athlete, isn't she? Long-armed. And you see there's quite a bit of clearance above her head there with the snatch. So she really does have to drive it a long way before she gets under. And here is the Kazakh, Sheva, who is not being called out because it's going to be this woman here from the People's Republic of Korea, Jo Pok Hyang. And Pok Hyang, who did 105, 108. She will go for 110. It's her third and final. She's heavier than Lin, so she won't go into the lead. They'll be equal on weight, and it's all theoretical anyway. So she is on 108, just 2 kilos back. And do you know what the difference? It would have brought her up to second. Instead, look, ranked 10th. Just that 2 kilos of difference. I mean, it's setting up a great final for the clean and jerk here.
I've got to say, we've seen some fantastic lifting so far in these World Championships, but this category, although there's now a few failures, this has to be one of the best technical groups we've seen, and the consistency level is illustrating. We've got lots and lots of successful lifts, but those that are missing are only missing by the tiniest of margins. This lift to stay in the competition.
Well, huge pressure here for Deng Wei.
Remember, she bombed last year as well, but on the clean and jerk.
Sits in deep, and
great recovery.
That's a brilliant recovery. And, you know, 115 kilos 6 weeks ago at the Asian Championships, and now struggles to do 110. And that is a mental thing, isn't it? Just on the day, the nerves, the fear of failure. She just manages to deal with it in time and gets a good lift in. Cho Hoi Sim, 111. Well, this is a huge personal best. And, well, didn't even get over her head, but 11 kilos above her personal best arriving here. So she's had a good campaign so far. It's got to be said, 108. She entered at 108 and missed it, then got it on her second. And she was very close on her second. I mean, it was really tight. I said she might go for 109 next. I think that was a bit of a wishful thinking lift.
Yeah, well, I suggested on her previous attempt that was on a limit. Turieva here being pulled to the platform. 112 is the weight. First attempt with 108 was comfortable, very comfortable. Straight to the platform.
Just enough time here to pause, get her thoughts together. 112 on the bar, her second attempt.
Slightly in front, does well to save it. No problems. Very, very strong lifting.
Yeah, and I think there's more there. She slightly rolled forward, didn't she? She had to fight it a bit.
Well, let's just look back at her best result. She has snatched 115, but that was in the 69 kilo category. So she now is really on a limit for any weights that she's ever lifted in this category. And she's doing her utmost to stay with the top lifters in this competition. She's there in a medal position right now.
The top lifters left, we have Begaj of Albania, who we probably wouldn't have put here originally. But Goracheva still has one lift. That's who's coming out now. Oh, no, it's not, actually. It's
Begaj, 113.
It's going to be Begaj. So there's been a bit of jiggery-pokery backstage, swapping and changing what they're going to do. 113 kilograms. Now, can she do a similar story to yesterday's Daniel Gadelli? First ever gold medal for Albania. He did that in the snatch and then followed it up with the total world championship title as well.
Oh, out in front. She's going to be gutted with that. You can see the frustration. This is the most focused I have ever seen Begaj in competition. This is the best physical condition that I've ever seen her in competition. She's come up as well from 58s to 63, and every bit of body weight is muscle.
Yes, she looks in supreme shape.
Just toppled forward, had to throw her shoulders back at the top to compensate.
Yeah, she's 28 years old as well, so she's experienced, getting all together. And now this young lady, 21 years old, Goracheva, massive moment in front of the home crowd. You can see the stewards trying to quieten them down, allow her to concentrate. 113 kilograms, my goodness, 2 kilos over her personal best, and well, Dr. Lee's heart is racing here.
This for a chance of a medal on the snatch. And she's got it. Superb lifting. 3 out of 3. She started on 103. Remember, it's not the weight you start on, it's what you finish on. She went 103, 108, 113 for a 2 kilo personal best on the world platform in front of a home crowd. Incredible.
Just magnificent, and really you couldn't ask for anything more. Narrow grip, very strong, and that bodes well for the clean and jerk. Could be a new face on the World Championship podium. he's wired to the moon. Lin Tzu Chi, 113 kilograms. Still 3 kilos down on her best.
Nowhere near. Really lacking in leg drive.
Well, I mean, it's the story of teams and nations, because the Albanians have timed this to perfection. Chinese Taipei, they've got world record holders that we've seen earlier in the week that have also come out and done well at the Asians 2 months ago, but failed here.
Well, that's it. It's so hard for these athletes to peak competition after competition. Usually you select 1 or 2, and it appears that Chinese Taipei have selected the Asians.
So, Romola Begaj, snatch bronze in the women's 58 kilos. One of only 2 medals prior to yesterday's efforts from Gadelli that have got Albania medals at the World Championships. Going for 113.
That puts her into gold medal position,
yes,
ahead of Goracheva at the moment, because she's lighter on body weight.
Well, Goracheva had done 113 as well, and at 62.6 kilos, the Kazakh, the Albanian, 62.2 kilos. And as you pointed out, Mikhaila, body weight has now given her the lead. They've lifted the same weight, but we have one reply left. It's Tima Tureyeva of Russia, the defending champion, has still a attempt left to go, and she'll have to go 114 kilograms. What's her body weight? 62.3. Yes, Begaj 62.2. She's heavier. Yes, she's come out a kilogram more. This then to finish the snatch competition. It'll give the gold to the Russian. If she fails it, she'll settle for the bronze. Bronze it is then for Russia. Albania have got another gold to add to the two yesterday that their star Daniel Gudeli nailed in the 77 kilos. And well, he went on to attempt an extraordinary weight in the clean and jerk, going for a world record. Perhaps we could have another fairy tale story here for Begaj. Well, just got her movement wrong there.
Just landed on her toes, so close. And just remember here, we're only 3 kilos below the world record, and we've had 3 lifters playing on these weights.
Yes, I mean, look how many weightlifters are close together. 113, the top two. 112, Tureyeva gets the bronze. Goracheva obviously had to settle for the silver. Begaj on top, and then Lin, who is right up there, and Deng, the two big favourites, are in 4th and 5th, but they're only 3 kilograms back. This is teed up to be a fabulous battle in the second half. The second discipline, the clean and jerk. And that's coming up in just a